This is the walled garden, the Sizergh Castle. And with the sun behind it, all you get is a shadow. Probably. And then just down there, somewhere, where's he gone? Still there. A little tiny injured water vole, or vole even. Very injured. Poor little thing. Limestone steps. Sizergh's famous for its alpine rock garden, which is pretty spectacular at the moment. I filmed a bit earlier on, but it's most famous for it in the spring. Most alpine gardens are really spectacular in the spring. When we were on the other side of this wall just now, I took a couple of snaps of this obelisk, or these pyramids rather. We've put Sam in the van and we're having a wander around the garden. We're just sitting in this arbour. Where Karen is. Wave to your mum. Little does she know I'll edit that out. Oh. We've just come out of either what is the exit or the entrance to the garden. We're standing by these barns, or whatever they may be. But it's a fantastic viewpoint. We've got the edge of the castle there, and then out in the distance, the hills, wind turbines. Bit of rain over there perhaps, but that's quite a view. Fantastic thing about Sizergh Castle is it's 3 miles off the M6. It's a brilliant place to stop on the way up to Scotland, and I suspect a lot of people do, especially if you're a National Trust member. Great place for lunch. This is one of many park ups at Newcastleton, or around Newcastleton. This was our plan A stop. We thought we'd wait and see. Sam, stop putting me over. We thought we'd wait and see what this is like. There's a lot of pathways and several mapped out trails. One being really short, literally just sort of quarter of a mile. You can see all the running water down there and bridges. The longer trails go up into the trees over there, so we'll be exploring later on today. Sam's eager to go. Well, actually he's eating grass at the moment. He's on in his venture, safe from being attacked by the corgis. They're at home with Peter, who's looking after the fort. This sign warns of ghosts and all sorts of things, of travellers that once crossed this ford here. And it talks of the people that dug the drains being paid 5p, 1 shilling, for digging out 20 metres of drainage. And there's obviously a lot of drains here in order to grow the trees. This is one of several of the walks around this particular place we parked up. The water going under this bridge almost sounds like people talking, murmuring. Which, when you consider that sign further up about the ghosts and things, I can understand where the reputation comes from. There's a lovely little pond there. A substantial picnic bench, and over there hanging in the trees are bird feeders. They're full up. In fact, they've probably only been filled very recently. There was a couple up here earlier on walking their dogs. This is a very, very, very well looked after and probably very, very loved spot. And there are benches everywhere. It's really nice. And you can't beat a bit of moving. We're currently exploring some woods around Newcastleton. There are little seedlings of trees and all sorts of things growing on this stump. And I've already seen 2 red squirrels. Chances of catching one on camera, who knows. But there's nothing but the sound of moving water and the breeze in the trees. And green. This is a fantastic place. Forestry Commission land, cycle tracks, clean, tidy, no sign of damage, no sign of vandalism, and trails, good, hard surface trails, lovely. We're now on the other side of the woods. Didn't see any more red squirrels. No, Karen's missed out on that one. I saw them when I was walking Sam before breakfast. On this side there's deer fencing. We haven't seen any deer, but that's what that's for. We're following one of the waymarked paths. Sam wants to go everywhere except in the straight line as usual. Those purple plants to the right of Karen are scabious. There's some interesting and very unusual little white, there's a scabious there. Strange little white flowers, which I don't recognise. Whoops, glasses just fell off my head. But that's where we stayed for the night last night. Right. Look at the archway. Yeah. That's quite an impressive building, isn't it?
It's a lot weighted like therefore impression, isn't it?
Don't know.
In 300 yards like that, the destination will be on that top floor, gatehouse, throwing things on them.
Look at that. Madness. This is what's known as Hermitage Castle. That archway is absolutely enormous. That's probably 35, maybe 40 feet high. What do you think, Sam? How high is that archway? Film it so you can read it at a later date. Quite a barren setting. I love these little harebells, little campanulas. They really are beautiful little flowers. And you've got these little tiny achilles as well, growing everywhere. But harebells are something about Scotland, you see them everywhere, and it's just nice. A few hundred metres from the castle is the chapel. It's a wall compound which is excellent because we can let Sam have a little run about without risk of losing him. There's some gravestones over there and the outline of the chapel and some windows. And an approximation of what it looked like, with a very interesting tale of what happened to Lord Soulis. If you read that section there, if you pause the video and read that, not a very nice way to go. Last night we stayed here in Newbattle, Dalkeith. There's the van just down the end of that track there. Guests are Craig Harrow. We had a lovely meal and a very nice evening, and thank you very much, Craig. And you certainly have a very nice location and a nice bit of river frontage. Very slowly going up. What I don't understand is why isn't that dripping loads of water? Actually, will be wet, that bit. What do you think, Sam? Why is it not dripping loads of water? Got any ideas? There we go. It's now at the top. Whoops. That's like a herd of Newfoundlands, isn't it? The colour of that water. It's golden brown. And this is Rough Castle, a Roman fort in Falkirk. And Sam has decided to go on the other side of the water, because obviously over there is much more fun, isn't it, Sam? Now, you're going to come here and have a drink or not? Daft Beagle. Slightly different view of the wheel from one of the footpaths on the way back from Rough Castle. And the traffic lights flashing red to green, red to green. A bit of an unusual combination. And out there, the start of the hills into the heart of Scotland, which is tomorrow's journey. You can't really come to Scotland without coming to see the Kelpies. Being a Sunday, the car park, well, the top car park was closed and the other car park was rammed. So we went off, parked up for the evening, watched the Formula 1 Grand Prix until 9 o'clock, came back, plenty of parking, blue lights are on, and look at that horsey. Next morning, grey skies, really heavy rain overnight, but it's supposed to be brightening up today. They're just as impressive against a grey sky. Gives you an idea of the scale. There's Karen and Sam over there. Just look how big this thing is. That is a big, big GG. God blimey. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to come out on the video, but can you hear the bird song? All along the top. Loads and loads and loads and loads of birds. And you can hear them echoing. On this 1/10 scale model, we have a little man looking up in awe. And then behind the scale model, the real thing. The house that Alden lives in at Welbeck College is called Stirling. Sam, you're supposed to be staying here, being photographed by the castle. Stirling Castle. Sam? Come back, Sam. Wiggle. Sam! Leaving his DNA everywhere. Lunch at Camperdown Park. Quite ironic, really. This is just off the A90, Dundee. Absolutely superb place to stop for lunch. We just stopped in this little lay-by. There's car parks everywhere. There's a zoo just round the corner. It's a cracking little spot. We're just going to head off now after our lunch, but it was a great place to stop for the dog. So, tonight's park up in the car park for the Lockleigh Kirk, and we're just walking down to see the castle down the end of this road. It's the second castle of our trip that we stopped at. That was the reason for driving up this road, really, just have a look at this. That was probably the doorway, about 10 foot above the ground. Somebody's been making a rudimentary attempt to get up there, and there's a chain hanging there. Bit of scaffold. And a turret. Just a defendable tower, and Karen said these slots might be for forklifts, but I suspect not. So between those two trees there's a stag. just laying on the grass, and another one there. So we're now in a very old chapel, churchyard, on the edges of Loch Lee, Lee at Invermark. And this wall here actually goes right up to the edge of the water. But it is blowing a gale, which will keep the midges out. So make sure I step out. So I'm in the shelter of the wall here. But that is surprisingly windy. And then looking down towards the end of Loch Lee, there's what appears to be a hunting lodge right down the bottom there. Bit more of Loch Lee. Sun's just going down. The wind is incredibly warm. And we're sitting on a park bench. And that's the churchyard we're in just now. These little chaps are extremely unhappy about the dog. They had a right old shout at him, didn't you? You're going to go away now, aren't you? Because we haven't got any food for you. Whoops. We stopped here to film this valley. We're walking still towards Queen's Well. Just the sound of moving water. And over there in the distance are beehives. Up to the moon, just going down behind this set of hills. Large fish leapt out in front of us just there, twice. Not sure I'll catch it again on camera. Sam wants to go. Sam wants to go everywhere, don't you, Sam? You always want to go, don't you, Sam? Endlessly want to go.
I think he wants to go back down to the river.
And we're heading off towards those trees over there. I think that's where the walk takes us. And you can see the sun's out. And it's lovely. And it's about 16, 17 degrees. It's not too hot. It's just lovely. And we're in Scotland and we're very, very happy. We like Invermark. It's a lovely spot. This is the Queen's Well, Invermark, reportedly visited by Queen Victoria, hence the name. There's a lodge over there at the end of it, well, not at the end of this track. The track continues up there to Mount Keene and then over the top to Ballater, which is about another 10 miles away. This is Fettercairn Arch, built to celebrate the visit of Queen Victoria, in the same vein as the well at Queen's Pool that we walked to just now. That might be actually nose down.
Then which way you go?
I think we're still pointing up slightly.
I think we're down.
Next park up. A view into the woodlands.